On this episode of the Bronze Metalist podcast, we talk about Violent by Nature by Atrophy. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Bronze Metalist podcast. I'm Kale.
I'm OJ.
We're two professional broadcasters. We like metal, and we like to talk about it. And today we're talking about some thrash metal from 1990, the second and for an extremely long time final album from Atrophy. And then suddenly, in the year of our Lord, I guess in 2019, or I think it was 2015, I was reading, they reformed with most of the original members.
Right.
And then slowly, over the next 9 years or so, a number of the original members, with the exception of the singer Brian Zimmerman, all left the band once again. Before they put out their third album this year. But we're talking about their second album from 1990. So
1990, right. Yeah,
yes, 1990. So we'll get to that later. First, how are you doing?
I'm fantastic, thank you.
That's good. That's good to hear. How's the week been?
It's been good. You know, the weeks are starting to get shorter and shorter and shorter, I think, as you get older.
Yeah.
So I feel like we just did this like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, it does feel like the last week has been very, it's gone by really quick. I was, like today, I read something at work where I was like, oh fuck, tomorrow's Friday.
Yeah.
Where did the time go? Just zipped on past this week.
Tomorrow's gonna be Friday, and then the next day, you're gonna be 50.
And then, the next day, I'll be 50 years old.
And then by Monday, you're dead.
One can hope. There's that millennial humor.
Which I think is why millennials and Gen Xers bond occasionally, because
just we're suicidal.
Yeah.
We've both given up.
Yeah.
Which I guess it depends on who you ask whether or not I'm a millennial. I've heard the term zillennial bandied about, which I think it sounds kind of gross, but it does make more sense. Like if people understand what that means, then that's what I could just say. Because depending upon what article you're reading,
right?
28 makes me a Gen Zer, and I don't feel like I fit in with that group. I don't think my sense of humor really fits in. With that's my primary understanding of the difference between the generations, as it were, is the sense of humor that they have. I think my sense of humor is pretty squarely millennial.
So I don't remember having any of these conversations when I was in my 20s.
Yeah, that's the other thing, is it's all bullshit anyway.
Yeah,
it doesn't fucking matter.
Right.
But I mean, everybody has the experience of like seeing someone that's a decade younger than them and going like, "What the fuck are you on about?"
Yeah.
What Riz? What the fuck is like having to figure out all of that shit, and then once you get told what it is, you go like, "I don't care."
Yeah. Oh my god, I wasted energy learning that.
I asked what it was, and then halfway through, I realized I don't give a shit. And it's like, hey, more power to them. They're having fun doing their own thing, inventing their own words. Good for them. But a lot of it, I'm just like, what? It also spreads so much faster than it used to because of the internet.
Oh, sure, yeah. We didn't have it. We didn't have internet back in my day.
Back in your day. When you wore an onion on your belt, because that was the style at the time.
Yeah, I went onto the internet, I think, the first time when I was 23.
And life has gone downhill ever since then.
Oh, certainly.
But you don't know if it's because of the internet.
No. It might just be, correlation, not causation.
Possibly, but who knows? Maybe it was the internet. Maybe it was whatever you saw on that day when you were 23.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember what you did the first time you used the internet?
I used the internet. My friend Tanya was showing me something called Hotmail.
Oh.
She said you can get it, and then people they can send
this
you.
This is like mail, but it's sexy.
No.
Oh.
Yeah, no.
It wasn't sexy?
It wasn't.
Oh.
If you spell it differently, I'm talking. Then some might consider that sexy.
Confused.
If it's HOTMALE.
Oh, I suppose.
Then
Okay.
I think that gets,
you don't think mail can be sexy?
that gets kind of racy.
MAIL? You don't think that can be sexy?
My friend Shane sent me a picture of tits once.
Is that the Shane Isles?
Yeah, it also is the Shane.
That sounded right.
It was great because it was a really big JPEG.
Well, it was a glossy JPEG.
Yeah, it was fantastic, and it was funny with the email, and I still have it in my Hotmail. This is from
really
25, 30 years ago.
Oh my god!
And
you had to make sure to keep that.
I wanted to keep it because it was a landmark day, and because it was a picture of a duck, and you could see blurry in the background, like out of focus in the background. There was in fact a duck, and it was circled.
There's a red circle around the duck.
Yes,
but also titties.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah,
that's good. That's what the internet's for.
Exactly,
really.
The internet is for titties.
I feel like sometimes when people are get very prudish about certain things, I always think about how one of the first things that film was used for, that motion, that like
right.
Someone invented a film camera that could record images in motion. Mm-hmm. One of the first things that was put to film was porn.
Pornography.
One of the very first things that was done with a film camera was make porn.
Mm-hmm.
And
why wouldn't you?
Exactly. They were like, oh, this is perfect. Never before have we been able to do this.
Right.
And everyone's going to like this.
Because for a while now, we've been able to photograph nudity.
Yeah.
But now...
And we've been able to render it via paint onto a canvas.
Absolutely. Hundreds of years.
I guess I don't know of any specific examples. But there has to be like cave wall art of titties out there, right?
Oh, there is. I've seen it.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah, in France.
Of course it's in. Yeah, I don't know what it is about France where there's a lot of really well preserved cave art. I think there's just a lot of caves in France.
There are a lot of caves.
How it works.
I think it's just the temperature, the climate.
The Neanderthals were there,
right.
and
there's actually a place in France where the naked ladies dance.
Really?
And
still to this day.
There's a hole in the wall.
Incredible.
Where you can just see it all.
Wow.
That's great. Yeah.
Why would I do that though?
I don't know.
Why wouldn't I just use my phone?
Because we have the internet.
Why would I go to the hole in the wall? Like some kind of pervert.
Some people, that's their thing.
Yeah, I guess.
Hey, I'm being a pervert.
Voyeurism or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, this has been a weird start already.
It's been a very weird start.
It's later in the evening.
I
feel like that imparts a different energy.
It does. Yeah,
it's a real after dark energy here. It was already after dark. It was after dark by 6 p.m. because it's November in North Dakota.
Yeah, right.
That's bullshit. The fucking just make daylight savings time permanent.
Yeah.
Just do it. I don't give a shit if it's dark when I go to work. I want it to be light out when I get home.
Right. Dark
when
is how
I have
I'm
free time.
When I go to work. Yeah. When I'm getting off work, I want the sun to be out. I want to hear birds. I want everything to smell like cotton candy.
I want to see pictures of tits in my Hotmail.
Exactly.
Speaking of birds, something weird that I've noticed about this apartment is the view out there.
Yeah.
There's a tree like right in front of my window.
Sure.
There's no leaves on it because it's November in North Dakota. But I have not seen in that whole grassy area a single bird.
Really?
The whole time I've been here so far. I look out the window, I never see birds out there. Never.
Really?
I get that it's November, it's getting cold.
We still have birds here in the
But there are
winter.
still birds. I'll see crows on my walk to work. and whatnot, but yeah, they never hang out in the lawn on the lawn area and by the tree.
Right.
It makes me want to get a bird feeder just so Zima has something to look at.
Right.
Because she would do that. There were like always birds, mostly crows. It was mostly crows at my old place, which I don't mind because I like crows.
Right.
But
I have a whole murder outside.
yeah, there was once I was sitting out on my deck. It was this summer, this most recent summer.
Yeah.
I was sitting out on my deck and I think I was reading, and it was a beautiful sunny day out, and it had rained that morning, I think, and there was a big puddle over by the dumpster, and there was like a big rock, a big decorative rock next to the puddle, and there was a crow that would hop into the puddle, splash around for a little bit, and then go and hop on top of the rock. And then this crow did this like 14 times because he was just having fun.
Joy.
This crow was clearly enjoying the hell out of itself. And it was so fascinating because I know they're like crazy smart, and they will do shit just because they think it's fun,
right?
Which I find very, very entertaining. It was very entertaining to just see this crow splashing around, having a great time. It was wonderful, a magical little moment of observing nature.
You know, I imagine if you do put this bird feeder outside your, probably on your porch or whatever. Or?
There's actually like hooks hanging from the side posts.
Here's what I imagine: you're going to put that up, and there's going to be a kid 2 balconies away, standing with a BB gun, go, yeah,
little shit.
Sweet, more birds for me.
More birds for me to kill.
That's why you ain't been seeing them.
Then I would have bird shit on my deck, which I don't know.
Oh yeah, good point. I mean, are you a deck person ever, really?
During the summertime when it's when it's nice out, I will go and read and just get some sun. You know.
So you just be a deckhead for that day.
I guess a real deckhead.
Yeah, a real deckhead.
Don't you hate it when? I mean, you wouldn't hate it, but the joke I was going to make when your deck gets wet.
Oh yeah.
When your deck is just soaked. No, it's a funny word.
It is.
It's even funnier in a New Zealand accent. Because it just sounds like it just
sounds like dick.
It doesn't sound like dick in American English,
right?
But it sounds the same way that they say dick. They say dick and deck the same way,
right?
And it's funny. They also say shed as shid.
Shid.
Go out to the shed. Take a look at my fish poster.
By the way, that that video that I showed you earlier today is all over the internet now.
Oh yeah, of the Maori in Parliament.
The haka that they.
That was awesome.
That was
awesome. So cool.
Oh boy.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if I've done anything remotely interesting in the last week. I think the answer, as usual, is no.
I bought some lamps.
You bought some lamps?
Yeah, because...
Damn, son.
That's right. I'm living the high life.
What kind of lamps did you buy?
I bought floor lamps. 2 floor lamps. Tall, like, they're 6 foot tall floor lamps.
Nice.
I'm like, man, because I tripped over a leaf. Believe it or not.
Over a leaf?
It was a leaf. It was a dry leaf in my living room. And
you tripped over it?
It didn't give me the footing because I stepped on it, didn't see it. And
you slipped on it like it was a banana peel.
Yeah, it was like, I think I actually made the woo, 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 woo sound when and then I knocked, I bought this piece of shit lamp for $25 at a secondhand store. It was already to the point where it was iffy. You had to kind of Fonzie it a little bit if you wanted it to turn on properly. And then I went flying face first into it and destroyed the shade.
Oh no!
And broke it. And so I'm like, cool. Excuse to buy replacements.
I'll go buy some new lamps.
So yeah, my youngest child and I went to the Walmart and bought some floor. I'm like, wow, why are these $10 each? I'm gonna get 2 of them. I had one before. These are $10. That's awesome. And then I got them home. And then I came to your apartment and play D&D, and while I was here, he put them together, and he sent me a message going,
I know why they're $10.
Yeah.
Were they just a real pain in the ass to assemble, or did they not work very well?
They're just cheap pieces of garbage.
That sucks.
Yeah. The on switch kind of works. They're thin as pencils.
It's really bad build quality.
Yeah. Yeah, and one of them was kind of crooked in the threads, so it wouldn't screw in properly, so it looks like it's been damaged.
Uh-oh.
And you know what? I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm leaving it.
I had to figure out in my living room, because since my TV is so big, the entire opposite side of the room is reflected in the screen.
Sure.
So the lamps that I had on the other side of the room caused, some amount of glare.
Right.
So I was like, okay, let's move the lamps to the same side of the room as the TV, so I don't have this problem. But then I needed to figure out, I needed to sort of rearrange a little bit and figure out how the fuck I was going to fit the second lamp on the other side of the TV so it would look kind of symmetrical. And what I did was, instead of sitting it on the floor, it is the tripod that the lamp is on, because these are like it's like studio lighting for like making videos and stuff that I bought years and years ago. But they work. They work well as lamps. They put out a lot of light if you need them to, and it's all LEDs. But anyway, what I did is I just moved my record player forward and set it on the little table that I put instead of on the floor, it's now sitting kind of precariously a little bit on the table where my record player is. And I say precariously because the legs of the tripod the tips are not rubberized. So it slides around a lot, and I have it at its narrowest setting, so it's not particularly stable either. But it's there, and I didn't have to move a bunch of extremely heavy stuff in order to put it there.
You realize this whole thing's just been you bragging for the last...
My
TV is too big.
My TV is too big, and I have these nice lamps.
And I don't know where to put them.
I was thinking about earlier today.
Yeah.
Because I would like to use this side of the room that we're in to maybe paint minis at some point.
Sure.
Because I have a bunch of minis that need to be painted, and maybe someday I'll actually play this Warhammer 40K game
that you know everything about.
Yeah, maybe I'll actually buy some models and assemble them and paint them.
Is there like a local club here for it, or?
Probably. I don't know if there's a club, so it's probably just like hey, we're the people who play 40K at
the game store.
Yeah, I don't remember the hobby shop that's still open. Is it Chaos? I think Chaos Games is the one that's still open.
Chaos Games is still open, right? The other ones, the other two are closed.
Yeah. I don't know if they do much gameplay in that store though, because they don't have like tables in that store.
Is it like the new store?
Yeah, their new store. Like I don't remember seeing like tables for Magic at their old store either.
They were downstairs.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if the downstairs at their new place is being leased by them. I think the downstairs at their new place is leased by someone else, which is weird because the stairs are in the middle of the store. It's a weird space that they're in right now. But
I love downtown Minot because if you are
it feels very organic.
It does, and all the stores, everything has a freaky basement. I mean, you go down there, and we were renting. It was me. I was in a band at the time, and we were renting this one space on Main Street.
Yeah,
and you go downstairs, and there was a door that was cemented over.
Yeah,
and I remember my friend Randy took a sledgehammer to it.
We want to find out what's behind there.
Gotta know. Yeah.
There was a show I went to at one point. There was a guy I knew who briefly, when I was in college, were like, maybe we'll start a band or something like that. And that didn't work out. It would have been with me as the vocalist because I don't fucking know how to play any instruments.
Right.
But that didn't really work out. But he joined this band and they were going to play a show in the basement of what had just been Magic City Magic.
Okay.
As it closed. Like it closed down, and it got worked out. We're like, oh, we'll play a show in the basement of that place. That was kind of interesting and weird. Then there was the space that Pangea House was in, that also had like all of the artist spaces there.
Right.
That was in a downtown Minot basement. I'm trying to remember what was on the ground floor there at Pangea House.
Pangea House. Was it?
I don't remember.
I'm trying to picture where it was.
God, I can't remember what
Was
store.
it on Main Street?
I don't think so.
It wasn't like where 62 floors is it? No.
God, I don't remember.
That's under budget.
Yeah, it may have been under budget. It may have been underneath budget music. This was before they stopped doing music there by the time I had a record player. So I didn't make note of the record store.
Right.
So yeah, I don't entirely remember where it was at.
Because there was also a place that was in what was the industrial area of town, which is now a field with trees in it. But there was the tiny. Did you ever go in there? The Liberty?
No.
Oh, it's so tiny. My band played there, and you're at max capacity at like 20 people in the audience, and the stage is about the size of your standard coffee table. And so right behind me, I had a drum kit, and then I had my guitar rig, and then I had a bass rig over here, and I was all the music that I was playing. I'm just playing from memory. I don't know where we actually are in the song.
Yeah.
All I can hear is just this blasting wall of sound firing at my ears.
I hope this is on time.
I hope we're playing the same song.
Yeah. The smallest venue I've been to for any show that I've seen was Silent Planet did a surprise show in Bismarck one time at a record store in Bismarck. And they had a backroom space that was just fucking tiny. It was so small. There was a bunch of really great punk bands that I saw, and this cool post-rock band that played too. Because they were already doing a show, and Silent Planet kind of piggybacked off of it because they were on their way home. They had been on a tour that ended on the East Coast, and they were on their way back to California, and we're let's just see if people will let us sort of tag on to their shows that are already happening. And one was happening in Bismarck, and I went down to it, and it was the smallest space. I think technically the space at I've seen a couple of shows at the Blue Rider in Minot.
Oh sure, yeah.
Technically, that space is larger because it includes the bar, but the space where the band is at is scarcely bigger than what I saw in Bismarck. But
my sister had a week gig at the Blue Rider.
At the Blue Rider.
Yeah.
It's been such a long time since I've been there.
Week long, not it was WEEK. Just be clear here.
I haven't been to the Rider in a very long time.
You should go.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, as far it's my favorite bar in Minot because it's just quiet and
And they have the fun nacho night and various fun stuff like that. They have a soup night.
Yeah.
Which is weird. You sit there and have beer and soup.
I just feel like I've just never I don't know if I've ever really gone to a bar by myself just to go to a bar.
Really?
I don't think I ever have. Every time I've gone to a bar for the sake of going to a bar to drink, it has been because someone has dragged me there.
I'm like that with bars and restaurants.
Yeah.
A lot.
Same. Yeah, I don't tend to go to restaurants. Every once in a while, I will, especially breakfast especially.
Yeah.
I'm every once in a while, I'm like, I want a big, huge, massive breakfast.
I'm going to get you some waffles.
I'm going to go to... I usually end up going to Homesteaders because waffles.
Right. I was just there last night.
Yeah.
Got the chicken fried steak.
I like Homesteaders.
Yeah.
It's a nice restaurant. It's a nice place. It feels like a classic old person restaurant, and that's kind of what I love about it.
Yeah.
It's the kind of place that I feel like I would have gone with my grandparents.
Sure.
If they had lived up here instead of south of Bismarck.
There was this restaurant called Lydia's, which was catty corner from On the Rocks. You know what I'm talking about? This is all Minot talk here.
I don't know if I know where On the Rocks is.
You know where it used to be called B&D? It's now called B&D Market. You go over the 3rd Street Bridge, north of the 3rd Street Bridge.
I don't spend a lot of time in that area of town, but continue.
It's over by the magic pond with all the gold coins in it.
Oh, okay. Now I know what you're talking about.
Anyway, no, there was this restaurant there, and it was smaller, way smaller than the Blue Rider is.
Uh-huh.
And I dated this girl who worked in that kitchen for a while, and she was a prep cook.
Okay.
And the prep, it's such a small area. and the prep cook who was teaching her had one of the Virginia Slims hanging out of her mouth, and it was lit. She was smoking.
Oh, wow.
Over the prep cooking
in this very small restaurant.
All right, I need you to chop the potatoes, and then I'm gonna proof the buns over here.
But I'm going to make a guess and say that food was fucking bomb.
Oh yeah, hell yeah!
Like,
it was definitely bomb. It was home recipes for the cafe.
There is a certain combination of things that would normally be very concerning about a restaurant. That in the right space with the right energy, instead of it goes completely the opposite direction, where normally you would be like, oh my God, this is going to be awful, this is terrible, I'm in danger. And it swings completely the opposite direction where you go like, oh no, this is going to be the best food I've ever had.
Yeah.
Like there's a vibe sometimes of just like, this place is gross and it's dingy, but the food is going to be amazing, and somehow I know.
Here's the sad thing, and here's the proof of what you just said. There's a restaurant, and I don't want to say the name of that restaurant because I don't want to shit talk this restaurant.
Sure.
Because if you love this place, fine. I used to love this restaurant.
Okay.
It's only open till 3 p.m.
Okay.
And the food there was, you walk in there and you could tell that upstairs in the apartments there's probably currently a dead body up there. the people are just sitting in these dingy, torn booths. You know, the people working in the back maybe hasn't shaven in a while, or maybe that's not hair. I'm not sure what's going on with that. And they would serve you the best food you've ever had ever in your entire life. Then new owners came along and cleaned it up.
And now it sucks.
Oh, now it tastes like the food is like like it's made by somebody who's heard of food before, but has never eaten it.
It's like an alien who gets nourishment via photosynthesis. Is like, I shall make food for the humans.
Yeah. Wow, this beef is iridescent. Why is it? Yeah, so I haven't been in there for very long. Yeah.
This ham is Vanta Black.
It's Vanta Black, and it just moves.
It's absorbing light. It feels like it's pulling me in. Is this ham going to eat me?
Why is this ham called the Singularity? Yeah.
I'd like the Singularity, please. With a side of existential dread. Actually, you know what? No, sorry, scratch that. Give me the Eldritch Horror, please. Yes, with the Cthulhu bites, of course.
Absolutely. Can I get it medium rare?
No.
God, never mind.
Only rare.
Only rare. Bloody.
Bloody, yes. And it never stops bleeding. So let's talk about the album here. So Atrophy is an American thrash metal band that was established in 1986. They're from Arizona. And they were established in 1986. They made one album before this, whose name I have forgotten. I read it earlier tonight.
I can't remember at the top of my head right now either.
But they made an album previous to this, some EPs, and then in 1990 they came out with Violent by Nature. And
this is their big breakthrough. Yeah,
it was their big breakthrough, and also very shortly after it, the band broke.
Right.
One of the members of the band decided to pursue a medical career, and then the band sort of disintegrated after that.
You know how these guys met, right?
Did they go to? I've read it and then immediately forgot it.
At an animal rights convention.
Really?
Yeah. Which, if you listen to the album, makes sense.
Yeah. It also feels like there is a song. I think it's Process of Elimination, where for some reason I was like, the name. I'm pretty sure there's a cattle decapitation song called Process of Human Extermination. And I almost wonder if, like, the fact that these guys met at an animal rights convention which is, how cattle decapitation kind of started. Not that they met at an animal rights convention necessarily, but that they were all, animal rights activists and vegans and whatnot. I almost wonder if there's some influence there. I feel like it's hard to tell because, especially after a certain point, metal became so saturated where it's like there are so many different things with common themes where you can never really guarantee a link between two different things unless the artists have themselves said so. Like, one of our big inspirations is this band.
I mean, those guys are my age, Cattle Decap. I feel like at some point they would have encountered, this, and this is a very boilerplate thrash band. Okay. I mean, it has all the,
and like the guys from Cattle Decap started making music in the 90s, right? I can't remember when their first album came out. Back when they were pretty strictly like a grindcore band when they started, right? Or I guess gore grind was the sub genre. Grindcore has so many micro genres in it. It's fucking hilarious.
Right.
Porno grind.
I know that's the first thing I thought of was porno grind.
Why are there enough bands that make music like that you could call it a distinct style?
I think
ridiculous.
I think it's probably all the lyrics are incredibly gross. Yeah. But I think the good news is you can't understand a goddamn one of them.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. If you can understand anything that's being said in a grindcore song, they're doing it wrong. Yeah. But so Atrophy, yeah, like you said, a very, very kind of boilerplate thrash metal, or at least late '80s / into the '90s style of thrash metal.
Right. Very well produced, very well played.
Exactly. Yeah. Definitely with that the harsher vocal style that thrash metal had kind of been developing towards and sort of cohabitated in the same space as death metal for that period of time. Yeah, I think it's a really good example of sort of where was thrash metal, where was new thrash metal at in 1990,
and this was where it was.
This is where it was. Does this album slap?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, this album absolutely slaps. There was nothing on this that I did not find myself enjoying, but there was also nothing on it that I found particularly enjoyable.
Sure, nothing stood out for you.
Yeah, like I didn't pick a favorite song because I was just like, I mean, these are all fine. I like them. But if I pick a favorite, I'm just going to be drawing something from a hat. And then if OJ says like, well, what did you like about it? I'm going to be like, the riffs were good.
I liked the thrash metal.
I liked how they thrashed the metal. But yeah, I mean, this album, as you may gather by the name of the album, Violent by Nature, and by the cover art as well of a young child with a bunch of like military toys and
wearing a mask,
wearing a spooky skull mask. It's kind of about the idea that humans are an innately violent sort of being,
right?
A lot of the album, or a lot of the song titles sort of reinforce that. Various lyrics reinforce that as well. It's an album with a very clear message.
Stop medical testing on animals and
that too.
Things of that nature. Be good to our furry friends.
Sure.
I mean, the first song is called Puppies and Friends.
Yes. I don't know if I know of another metal song that has puppies in the title.
Something that isn't just disgusting anyway.
Yeah, I don't know if I can think of a single other metal song that has puppies in the title. But yeah, what's your experience with Atrophy?
My friend Scott got a copy of this on cassette, and then I ended up buying it on CD.
Your friend Scott Ian.
My friend Scotty in from Anthrax. We are close buds.
It's weird how you don't talk about that.
Yeah, I know. I don't like to brag.
Yeah, you don't want to. Yeah.
I don't want people to think I know Scotty and Cal has a big TV.
You don't want to name drop shots all the time.
Exactly. So
OJ's not friends with Scotty.
No.
He would never be friends with Scott.
No. He knows what he did.
It's his fault.
Right. I don't know. So yeah. So anyway, yeah, he got this, and he's just really good. And I'm like, yeah, you're right, it is really good. And here's the crazy thing is, I listened to it probably 50 times.
Okay.
In the 90s, and then I eventually, because of what we've just discussed, the fact that nothing really stands out necessarily on it, that it kind of
you totally forgot about it.
I forgot about it. It faded from my purview and just.
I witnessed I witnessed the moment you remembered this band existed.
Yeah.
Like a number of weeks ago.
Yeah.
When the word popped into your head and you were like, I'm gonna see what they have a new album.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about. I think I may have just said the word Atrophy in casual conversation, and you were like, "There's a band called Atrophy. Oh my god!"
Light bulb.
Yeah. And it all led to this moment.
Yes. By the way, my friend Scott called them Atrophy.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and I'm like, what word is he saying?
Good old Atrophy.
Until he showed me the cassette, and I went, oh.
What if it was a space trophy?
A trophy.
That'd be a very weird name for a metal band.
A trophy.
We are a trophy.
It's a major award.
It's a major award.
Yeah.
Oh, we're getting close to that season.
We are.
We're getting close to a Christmas Story season.
Yeah. And wait a minute. In 2 weeks. So in 2 weeks will be Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Thursday. We usually do this on Thursday. On the Wednesday before we do that, I'm getting the old man procedure.
Oh yeah, you're having a colonoscopy.
That's right. And so, the day of the colonoscopy, usually kind of miserable because you just had a long camera shoved up your ass.
Yeah.
But the day before is way more miserable.
Oh, yeah, because you're just shitting constantly.
Yeah, that's all you do.
And shitting and not eating.
Yeah, you're starving. But the good thing is that there's explosive diarrhea coming out of you. So
yeah. So that'll keep you busy.
Yeah.
You won't have to think too much about how hungry you are because you'll be shitting. What a pleasant image.
You're welcome.
I mean, it's just a part of the process, unfortunately.
My second wife, I remember that day that she had to go through that. We set up a table with a laptop and we binge watched. What did we binge watch? I think Breaking Bad.
Okay.
We watched Breaking Bad and just right next to our bathroom.
Yeah.
And we watched it, and occasionally she'd hit the space bar, go in, slam the door, come back out, sit down.
Couple minutes.
Watch Breaking Bad some more.
But the good news is after the colonoscopy, it will be Thanksgiving.
Right.
And you can go into Thanksgiving having fasted, and you can eat superhuman amounts of food.
Yeah.
You should try and see how much you can eat.
Right.
I am happy because this year we have Black Friday off of work.
Right.
The owners at work gave us the day off after I requested, because we didn't know that we were going to. They hadn't said anything about it, and I specifically requested. I put in a time off request for Black Friday, and then the next day they sent out a text being like, "We're giving everyone Black Friday off," and I'm like, "It was me."
Even if it wasn't,
everyone should thank me.
Which we did.
Yeah,
we
actually, yes.
Thanks, Kale.
One of our coworkers was like, "Were you the one who submitted that?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Well, you probably jogged their, reminded them, like, oh yeah, it would be a nice thing to do." It's nice for me because that way, if I decide that I want to have a little bit to drink at my parents' house, I can stay the night there.
I feel like that's the whole point of Thanksgiving being on a Thursday.
Yeah,
is to give you 3 days to recover from your shitty behavior,
from the absurd amount of food and alcohol you've consumed.
Right.
I feel like that should be how it is. But the other thing that's nice is like, because for me, my parents live a little more than an hour's drive south of here.
Yeah.
Which in North Dakota, by the way, means close to 100 miles.
Right. Also means the next town over.
Yeah, because I feel like there are some people who don't have that context of like an hour's drive. What? That's 20 miles.
It's across town.
It's like no, it's a significant distance.
Right.
But it's difficult driving back sometimes because I'll be driving back at 7 p.m. In November in North Dakota. It will be pitch fucking black outside.
Right.
It always seems to be cloudy on Thanksgiving, which also means it's even darker.
Right.
No moonlight, just pure, driving, just only headlights. Headlights are the only source of light whatsoever. And then there was one time where a couple years ago, I forgot to use the restroom before I left my parents' house.
Oh, no.
And I was going to piss myself. And I don't generally like pulling over on the side of the road in order to use the restroom.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I just get paranoid that there's going to be a cop or something that's going to take issue with it and be a real asshole about it. But I had to because nothing was open because it's Thanksgiving. I can't just stop at a gas station. Nothing was open.
You know what I like to do is I like to pull over to the side of the road if I have to pee real bad.
Yeah.
Then I step out of the car and then I just go to my left
and face the highway
and just pee in the middle, just right down the stripe.
There you go.
The center stripe.
Well, it's yellow, so they won't tell.
Yeah.
They won't be able to figure. They won't be able to see it.
Right.
Anyway. We're being very
there's a lot of scatological discussion in this.
I feel this is what happens when we record an hour later.
Right.
Is it's just grosser, I guess.
After hours. With
Bronze medalist after dark. Yeah. So Atrophy, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, we've said it it's good. It's good boilerplate basic thrash metal. And then we had nothing more to say about it. Do you have more you want to say about Atrophy?
Nope.
Because I ran it's good. It's enjoyable. This is, to skip ahead, a solid silver. What's your favorite song? I bet you have a favorite song.
I actually the title track is probably my favorite because they get somewhat funky a little bit with that.
Okay, nice.
And so I'm like, kind of stepping
it's a little different. A little different. Stands out a little bit. All right.
But I gotta also give this a solid silver.
Yeah, it's a solid silver. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah,
sorry. Thank you. Oh my God, I forgot.
It's because it's after.
Because it's after hours.
Yeah.
Like Mascanada de Chewbacca. I should try and see week after week if I can say it faster each time.
Yeah.
And see what kind of verbal mush it turns into.
And eventually it's just going to be this rumor going about that Kale has sunken deep into alcoholism.
But it only manifests at the end of the podcast. When he says this one thing, the meaning of which has been lost to time.
Right.
I haven't even seen that movie since I saw it in theaters.
Yeah, I hear you.
I don't know if I've seen it not in theaters.
You know, I saw every Star Wars movie in the theater when it was new.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the first one, the episode 4, I saw it on a re-release because I was 3 when it came out initially.
Yeah.
I saw it in 1978 when we went back into the theaters.
Yeah.
But the first one that I didn't see in the theater, basically new, was Lando. I didn't see.
Oh, really?
The Calrissian movie.
I haven't seen it at all.
Really?
I have not seen. Wait, no, there's not a Lando movie. You mean Solo?
Solo.
Lando's in it.
Lando's in Solo.
It's Childish Gambino as Lando Calrissian, and I think they are
That's how forgettable it was.
I think they are making a. They are either making a Lando movie or they're doing like a TV miniseries or something. There's something in the pipeline, the Star Wars pipeline that may or may not get made because that's how that works these days.
I wish they would cross it over with Lando Calrissian and The Mandalorian. That way they could have a conversation.
Landalorian?
Lando.
Oh, God.
I think it'd be.
They'd do it too.
They would.
I feel like, God, it's I don't know. I feel like Star Wars TV show, like went right when they got started with The Mandalorian. It was right as Episode 9 came out, and everyone was peak, just sick of Star Wars movies, and everyone went, oh my God, this Mandalorian series is really good, and I bet I'm glad these TV shows are going to be great. And then the same thing happened with the TV shows that happened with the movies.
Super
there's just
saturation.
too fucking many of them. Yeah. People stopped giving a shit about making them.
Although the one of the few
Andor.
Part 2, Season 2 is coming out. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Please don't fuck this up.
Please don't fuck it up. But anyhow, we should probably wrap up. Next week, I don't know. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
There's a new Opeth album that comes out on Friday.
Friday this week or next Friday?
Next Friday.
Oh.
And it's like
You're champing at the bit to talk about it.
Yeah, I want to talk about it.
But we won't be able to hear it until after.
Yeah, until after we normally record, and sometimes rescheduling is a pain in the ass. So I might find something else for us to talk about, and maybe if the mood strikes you, maybe you could bring Opeth to talk about.
Right.
If you listen to it and decide that that's what you want to talk about, or something like that. You don't really like Opeth.
Yeah, there's nothing's appealing about Opeth.
I haven't listened to any of the singles they put out because I kind of want to listen to the whole album as its own thing. Right. Because they're doing like a concept album, I think, with it.
I believe I have heard one of the singles.
So I'm excited about that. But we'll get to that whenever we get to it, and I'll find something else for us to talk about next week. But till then, why don't you go ahead and subscribe to our feed on whatever podcast service you use to listen to us. And thank you for listening to another episode of the Bronze Medalist Podcast. I'm Kale.
I'm OJ.
Congratulations.